Hi students, today we'll start Science Chapter 3. Science Chapter 3, the chapter name is Soil Erosion and Conservation. Soil Erosion and Conservation. Do you know what is soil? Have you seen the soil? Soil means the upper layer of the earth. The upper layer of the earth is called soil. So today we'll learn about the soil erosion. Soil erosion. How to erase. You know what do you mean by erase? So, erosion. The soil will be go from one place to other place. Destroy. And conservation. How to conserve. How to save the soil. Both of things we will learn. First we know what is soil. The upper layer of the earth. The upper layer of the earth is called soil, right? And how it's formed, how the soil formed? By rocks, the small rocks, by the rocks and dead plants and animals. Dead plants and animals, rocks, small rocks, and water and air. When the air used to blow and the water used to flow very heavily, so big stones become very small stones, right? Then insects. Have you seen the insects on the soil? What are the things are there? If you dig the soil, you can get the insects, worms, bacteria. So in the soil, what the contain? In soil, what the things contains? It can be rocks. It can be rocks, dead plants and animals, water, air, then insect, worms and bacteria, right? Then we come to about the importance of soil. What is the importance of soil? Right? Plants use the nutrients in the soil to grow and make food. So plants use the nutrients. What the plants use? Plants use the nutrients. Plants use the nutrients in the soil to grow and make food. Right? If you plant a tree. If you plant a tree on the soil, what happen? How it's get the food? Definitely from the soil, from the roots. Get it not? Right? And you used to make the food. All the animals depend on plants. All the living animals depend on the plants. Suppose any animals in the world, they depend on the plants. We also depend on the plants, right? Then all animals depend on the plants directly or indirectly for the foods. The soil is very important for us. Then the soil is very important for us because all the living creatures, all the human beings, all the animals, they depend on the soil. That's the reason soil is very important for the life, right? Many animals live in the soil. The many animals live in the soil, right or wrong? Then rabbits, ants, and earthworms are examples of animals that make their home in the soil. So what are that insects or things are there used to make the make home on the soil? Rabbit, ants, and earthworms, right? We use products from the soil to build our homes. So if we want to make the home, we want land. We want land or not? Without land, can you make the home? Not possible. So we need the soil. Then how is soil formed? How is soil formed? How is soil formed? How is soil is to make? Right? So written that when the rocks breaking down into the small process, small pieces, when the rocks breaking down for in the small pieces, this process is called weathering. This process is called weathering. Spelling is weathering. This process is called the weathering. Weathering can be caused by animals, plants, rains, then flowing water, wind, and weather changes. So when the weather used to change, or animals, plants, rain used to fall down, or flowing water, wind, these things used to, that big rocks becomes used to the small rocks, right? If the big rock is there, slowly when the heavy rain falls, heavy rainfall or wind, that rock become used to break into pieces, right or wrong? Then we're talking about the moving water in river, for example, carrying rocks along. So when the moving water, what it carries? It carries the water. Moving water in the river, for example, carries the rocks. If you see the river, big river, when the moving waters in the river, on that the rocks used to what? You used to carry the rocks, or the rocks known against that knock each other, they break into small pebbles. So rocks break into the small pebbles by the rain, by the flow of the waters. Break into the pebbles, then the pebbles finally break into tiny grains. Then pebbles break into the tiny grains and sand over a period of time. So after long period of times, it become the sand. The wind also play an important role in soil erosions. And soil erosion, now we are reading about the soil erosions. So the wind also play the important role, like flow of the water. Water and wind both play the very important role for the soil erosion. Then next is, it's about soil erosion. We'll learn about more about the soil erosion, how the soil erosion used to happen. So as the soil forms, it settles down in layers. The topmost layer is known as the topsoil. So topsoil is called the, what do you mean of topsoil? Topsoil. What do you mean by topsoil? The topmost layer is known as the topsoil. If you see the land, the topmost layer, upper layer is called the topsoil. The topsoil has humus and is the fertile layer of the soil. If you have seen the land, cultivation land, that topsoil, just with that proper soil, fertilized soil, that the regions we can grow the grains or whatever the paddy fields, right? Then sometimes the topsoil is carried out by wind or water to a different phase. This removes the fertile portions of soil, and hence the land becomes barren. Barren means it's not good for the vegetation. So the topsoil, soil is that topsoil that if the heavy rain used to come, wind used to come, that soil used to erase from there. It's moved from that place. So that place become barren. Barren means it is not good, not fertile for the vegetations, right? Then the process of water, wind carrying away soil is called soil erosion. What do you mean of soil erosion? What do you mean by soil erosion? The process of water or wind carrying away soil. By the water or wind. Water and wind, it's carry away the soil. Carry away the soil. It is called the soil erosion. Now we'll talk about the erosion by the water. How the soil erosion by the water, right? As rainwater flows over the land, it carries a part of the soil with it. This results in soil erosion. And the rainy season, rainwater, with the rainfall is to heavy rainfall is to there, then soil is to carry from one part to other part. This result is the soil erosion. Soil erosion by water is greatly in hilly areas as water flows down faster. If you go to the hilly areas, big hilly areas, right? That the big mountains are there, where the people are staying up, top part of the mountains, hilly areas. So that parts, that places, when the heavy rain falls, that time the soil erosion is a very common factor there. Soil used to, when that water used to flow from the top of the mountains, that soil also erased from the top of the mountains, right? That fast flowing rivers, particularly in hilly areas, cause the soil erosion. Thus the river carry more and more soil as they flow down. So that the region rivers flow down, all the water that what soil used to flow down. On reaching the plains, the flow of rivers slow down and part of the soil is deposited on the way. As this deposited soil increase over the years, it can cause the rivers to change their course. This result is in flooding, causing loss of life and properties. Imagine, it's the heavy rain, the water used to come down, coming from the top of the mountains, falling down, the top of the mountains, then it's gone here and there, so it becomes a very dangerous. It becomes the flooding. Flood used to come like this. Then erosion by wind. Erosion by the wind, right? So first we learned about by the water how it's erased. Then now we learn how to erase erosion by the wind. Strong winds cause the topsoils to be blown away. If the heavy wind is to come, heavy air winds come, then topsoil, the upper part of the soil, it can be blown away. Particularly in areas where soil is less vegetation to bind the soil settle where the wind speed is slow. Wind erosion is greatest in dry regions, particularly in deserts. Imagine in the desert area, the very heavy hot sun flow is directly that regions, heavy wind is to come, that regions, the desert area, the vegetation is very cultivation is very difficult because the fertile soil is to blown away by the wind, right? Then erosion due to activities of humans. So how we are the human beings, we are also responsible just because of us the soil is to erase. For our own benefits, we are also what? Responsible. We are also culprit to destroy the soil. How? The roots of plants hold soil particularly together and reduce erosions. Definitely when the plant, the trees, that the roots used to go inside the soil, that the regions soil becomes strong. So it's always good to plant trees. Human activities have reduced plant covered and that caused an increase in soil erosion. So how the humans they are doing? Deforestation. It's very important things. Deforestation. What do you mean by deforestation? Telling that we are the human beings, have cleared forest to build farms. We want to make the farms, cities. We are making the cities, right? Factories, roads, and other requirements of woods. This leaves the land bare of vegetations and increased soil erosions. Plugging leaves the soil loose, which might lead the soil being eroded easily. Imagine what we are doing. We are making the roads. We used to cut down the trees. You used to make those cities. You used to make the home. If you want the woods, you used to cut the trees. That reasons soil erosion used to happen. This is called the deforestation, the cutting down of the trees. That is called the deforestations. Then overgrazing. What do you mean overgrazing? Overgrazing by cattle exposes the soil by removing the plant cover. If the cattle, cow, buffaloes, they used to eat grass, right? If overgrazing, the grass, then what happened? This cause increase the soil erosion. If all the grass they used to eat, the soil become the what? It can erase. Then soil conservation. What do you mean? Soil conservation. The formation of a layer of soil that is 1 cm thick takes more than 100 years. Imagine by the scale you see 1 cm thick soil. If you want to know, suppose from here to here 1 cm, this much soil on the land, it take 100 years to form. Imagine this thick layer of the soil, top layer of the soil, this thick layer, it need 100 years to form, but it can be eroded within a few years. But just with the earth or the wind or water, you used to erase. It is therefore important to protect soil from erosions. The protections of soil against erosion is known as the soil conservation. So we have the responsibilities. We must do the soil conservation. How to do? To protect from the wind, water, the human beings. So we must try to protect the soil erosions against the erosions. This is called the soil conservations. Right? Thank you so much.